Taylor Swift is responding to the news that her catalog of her first 6 albums have now been sold again. Scooter Braun bought the masters about 17 months ago, and after the news, Taylor vowed to re-record those albums, a process she has now started.
Taylor Swift has never been one to stay silent when power and control are ripped from her hands. When news broke that her prized music catalog had been sold again, without her blessing, it reignited a fierce storm that began back in 2019. That's when Scooter Braun shocked the music world by buying the masters of her first 6 albums, setting off a fiery feud. But Taylor didn't just clap back, she launched a full-blown revolution. From re-recordings to rallying her fan army, Taylor didn't just survive the betrayal, she turned it into one of the boldest comebacks in music history. Back in 2005, a 15-year-old Taylor Swift signed with Big Machine Records, a label newly formed by Scott Borchetta. She was its first major artist, and over the next decade, she blossomed into a global music icon, with hit albums like Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, and Reputation. Taylor built an empire of Grammy-winning records. Her success not only fueled Big Machine's rise, but also became the soundtrack of a generation. But when her contract with Big Machine ended after 6 studio albums, Taylor sought new beginnings. She struck a fresh deal with Republic Records and Universal Music Group, securing a promise that she'd finally own her future masters. However, Scott Borchetta blindsided her. Instead of honoring the spirit of that new chapter, he sold Big Machine and all of Taylor's original recordings to music mogul Scooter Braun for a whopping $300 million. To Taylor, it wasn't just business. It was betrayal. Not only had she been denied the chance to buy back her own work, but it was now in the hands of someone she alleged had bullied her for years. Scooter Braun, best known for discovering Justin Bieber, was suddenly the owner of her most intimate and personal songs. Rather than remain silent, Taylor went public. She expressed heartbreak and outrage, saying she had tried for years to reclaim her work, only to be met with rejection and manipulation. This wasn't a petty squabble over contracts. It was about a woman fighting to take back the legacy she built from the ground up. From that moment on, Taylor made it her mission to render the old recordings obsolete. The loophole? She still owned the songwriting rights. So in 2019, she announced she would re-record her first 6 albums, creating new versions that she would own entirely. Beginning in 2020, Taylor's version was born. The feud escalated. When Taylor was named Artist of the Decade at the American Music Awards, Braun and Borchetta allegedly tried to block her from performing her earlier hits. They also refused to grant her permission to use her own songs in her Netflix documentary Miss Americana. Their message was clear: play by their rules or lose access to your past. But Taylor wasn't one to bow to bullies. She blasted them on social media, detailing how they were using her music as leverage. She revealed that they wanted her to stay silent and not re-record her albums in exchange for limited rights. She refused. "I had to make the excruciating choice to leave behind my past," she told her fans. "These are songs I wrote on my bedroom floor. I earned every note." Her army of Swifties rose in solidarity. The backlash was immediate and intense. Fans flooded social media with "I stand with Taylor," putting massive pressure on both Scooter and Scott. Eventually they relented, allowing Taylor to perform her music, albeit temporarily and under specific conditions. Taylor later released a letter laying everything bare. She claimed she'd been trying to buy her music for years, only to be offered manipulative terms she couldn't accept. "My musical legacy is about to lie in the hands of someone who tried to dismantle it," she wrote. "I walked away because I knew once I signed that contract, Scott Borchetta would sell the label, thereby selling me." As she began re-recording her albums, Taylor found a new purpose: to inspire other artists. She warned that what happened to her could happen to anyone without the right protections. Her message resonated with both fans and musicians alike. Be a good little girl and shut up, or you'll be punished, she said of the way she was treated, but instead of shutting up, she got louder. The feud took a strange turn when Scooter Braun, facing immense pressure and public scrutiny, attempted to make peace. In a long Instagram post, he pleaded for a resolution, claiming he had tried for months to reach out. "It almost feels like you have no interest in resolving the conflict," he said. He emphasized his concern for his family's safety amid the backlash, but stopped short of taking full responsibility. By November 2020, Scooter had had enough. He sold the masters to Taylor's first 6 albums to a private investment firm for the same $300 million he initially paid. The move was seen by fans as a surrender, a desperate attempt to escape the PR nightmare that had surrounded him for over a year. Taylor wasn't swayed. She was still determined to reclaim her art. During a podcast in 2022, Scooter admitted he regretted the way things unfolded, saying he assumed everyone would want to do business with him once the deal closed. "That was arrogant," he confessed. Still, he never offered Taylor a direct apology. By 2023, Taylor had released Fearless, Taylor's version, Red, Taylor's version, and Speak Now, Taylor's version. Each release soared to the top of the charts, proving that fans were more than willing to abandon the originals to support Taylor's reclaimed versions. These weren't just nostalgic reboots, they were battle cries. Legal experts explained her strategy clearly. As the songwriter, she retained the copyright to the compositions, even if she didn't own the recordings. By re-recording the tracks, she could generate fresh masters that belonged entirely to her. It was a legal, financial, and symbolic victory. Fans hailed her as a warrior. On Reddit, one user dubbed her the ultimate girl boss, while another said she represents a new era of women, unapologetic, powerful, and unwilling to back down. Taylor's post-feud success only amplified her legacy. Her Eras tour, launched in 2023, became a cultural phenomenon. With a projected $1 billion in ticket sales, it quickly became one of the most successful tours of all time. Demand was so overwhelming that ticketing platforms crashed during pre-sale, and tickets vanished within minutes. Fans who couldn't get into the stadiums didn't give up. Instead, they gathered outside the venues, forming massive listening parties just to be part of the experience. Viral videos showed thousands of Swifties dancing and singing in parking lots as if they were inside. This became a hallmark of every tour stop. One particularly wild moment occurred in Seattle. During her Eras tour performance, the crowd's energy was so intense that it triggered seismic activity equivalent to a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. Scientists measured the vibrations, which lasted nearly 10 hours, a testament to the unshakable force of her fandom. Through it all, Taylor has proved one thing above all: no man, contract, or executive can strip her of the legacy she built. Her fight for her masters wasn't just personal, it was cultural. She exposed the dark side of the music industry and used her platform to shift the narrative. In doing so, she became more than a pop star. She became a symbol of artistic resilience. Taylor Swift didn't just reclaim her songs, she rewrote the rules of the music industry. By refusing to stay silent in the face of betrayal, she turned a devastating loss into a historic win. Her battle with Scooter Braun wasn't only about ownership, it was about power, principle, and self-worth. In a world where artists are often forced to surrender control, Taylor forged her own path. Through passion, persistence, and the unwavering support of her fans, she took back what was hers. And in doing so, she reminded the world that no one gets to define her legacy but her.